Crazy Show!
At the request of my staff, if you will, we were trying to get more for note-taking purposes, because the last meeting was a bit of chaos, if you will. Sometimes we just didn't know, like some people, so we were to the public, we were just going to ask if anybody does have comments, concerns, it's no big deal, just state your name, where you're from, and one at a time. Some people were, nothing bad, some people were cutting some people off. We didn't know who, like for a minute, if somebody just stood up and said a word, we had no clue it was Steve Smith from Petersburg or Sally Jones from Union. Just for that, so we know. We're going to try to do more like fiscal court, state your name, your purpose of being here, but nothing bad at all, just so we have for note-taking, because otherwise it was like miscellaneous human said this, and that's not much of a help. I mean, it could be some stranger from Cincinnati or Louisville. That's the reason we just want that, so we're just asking simply for that. At the last meeting, on a vote of 3-1, we wanted to send a letter to the Secretary of State. We're also including the State Board of Elections as well. I think those are the two agencies that would do that. We're asking on the 3-1 vote. The current law is they're mandating one race, one machine to hand count the audits. Our board is asking for more. So we're asking for the opinions, the legal opinions from the Secretary of State and the State Board of Elections as well. I was going to have, if they would like to read it, we just have to, if you feel comfortable with that, that's what we're going to send to the three people.
Could you possibly, that's why I'm interrupting right now, could you possibly amend it to include the Attorney General as well?
We could send an additional one. That would have to be a motion made by the board. Mm-hmm. It'll probably be at the next, because I got the approval. These three can go out immediately if the board approves it. If there's a motion from the board, it can be done.
Okay. I was just thinking if we could spread it out to different departments.
Make a motion to approve that to send to the three members we just discussed. All in favor? Aye. All right, motion carries 3-0 on that letter. Is there anybody that wants to make a motion for the Attorney General, or do you think?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we send a copy to the Attorney General.
Are you writing a letter to the Attorney General, or are you asking for an Attorney General opinion?
Well, we're sending this letter here.
Yeah, but if you're asking the Attorney General to give a legal opinion, there's a process to ask for an Attorney General's legal opinion.
Okay.
If you're just sending him a friendly letter saying, hey, what do you think? That's different than asking for his opinion.
Or we could wait, you can option one, Bill saying Attorney General's opinion, 2, send the exact same letter and see what the response is, or 3, table it. I guess are the 3 options.
I would do a friendly letter like that. And then what the response is may determine whether we want to go.
Okay. So, are you making the motion then, Steve? To send the letter, same letter to the Attorney General?
Yeah, same letter to the Attorney General for information.
Okay. I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think it's kind of a, again, a waste of time.
So you,
Because I believe what Bill said.
do you want a date? Then that's fine. Okay.
Do you want to hold that? I mean,
We can
for
table
argument
it.
purposes, do you want an Attorney General's opinion?
Or would you like to just
Change
a
it.
letter?
I would rather us not waste our time
Okay.
sending something that our attorney says, if you want to know something, try it this way. Am I wrong?
I don't think the Attorney General is going to express an opinion
Right.
that's of any assistance to us in response to a letter.
Okay.
I think if you send him that letter, he's going to say, thank you for your interest, but if you want my opinion, you're going to have to request an Attorney
Can
General's
amend the motion
opinion.
to change it, yeah. So we got to, well, we like, if the,
Well, that motion passed 2-1, so do you want a new motion that says,
You would have to do a new
Set
motion,
aside.
or you could set aside, or you could wait to see what the response is from the original letter.
no, let's set aside the motion.
I make a motion that we set aside.
Okay. I'm fine with that, so, all in favor of setting aside?
Yeah.
All right, 3-0 on that.
your third motion is to request an Attorney General's opinion?
Steve, are you making that motion? Okay, Janet?
Is he making the motion?
Yes. You making the motion, Steve?
I
I'll
make a
second.
motion to start the Attorney General
Okay.
for
Of the opinion.
the legal opinion.
Okay.
Okay, Janet? You second?
I did.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries 3-0 on that one.
So is
We're
this
gonna help with that.
a opinion letter that I'm going to, or a request for an Attorney General's opinion that I'm bringing back to the board next month for review?
Yes. Yes.
before I send it off?
Yes, 100%. We will review it and we will then,
You will get a copy of this letter here, right?
yes.
This will be part of the minutes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But yes, that will have to be, kind of like this letter, we will have to approve the letter. Okay, so that will be to the next meeting. Okay, new business. I kind of wanted to revisit. I know we kind of tabled the moving Connor Middle School to Connor High School. After really thinking, and I talked to some poll workers, and I talked to my clerk who ran that, they were busy all day. Most of the people actually park at Connor High School already in a walk down because the parking is so limited. I know we tabled it because we thought it wasn't a bad idea, but we kind of tabled it. But after talking with some both Democrat and Republican poll worker and my deputy clerk who were there, they were like, it was not great anyway. So I'm wanting to change that to Connor High School. We're not consulting. We're literally moving probably 100 yards, and the parking lot is immensely bigger.
I talked to my Democrat, who's one Democrat working there, and that was their, what are you going to do about the parking?
I mean, I know the parking is so tiny there in Connor with the gymnasium. I think we were asking for trouble if we don't move that to the high
So
school.
that's gonna require a letter to everybody.
We will send a postcard. We will publish it, website, we'll put it on Facebook, but they will get, every registered voter will get a postcard. And we'll have signs out, we're probably gonna have a human basically
Yeah.
arrowing down, but it's literally half the voters already park in the Connor High School parking lot, because there's literally probably 20-something spots at most one, that's it.
Do we need a motion?
I'll make the motion to move it from Connor Middle just to Connor High School.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries to move it to Connor High School. The old business will be, I know we've already done this, but I wanted you all to see a copy of it. On August 30th, 2024, we sent the letter to the nursing homes kind of explaining the rules of the game for absentee ballot. We have that for your viewing. It's already been sent. Because we voted, we approved it. I was showing you we did it. I mean, it's pretty detailed.
It's
Yeah.
nice to have the administrators.
Yes, and
So
that,
they
those
can-
are
so they
the, everyone we found, we sent it to.
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect.
Okay. Obviously, this is going to be a historic election. We're, just kind of give you the heads up, we're having more poll books, more sign-ins, more privacy screens, more tables, more everything that we've ever had because of the turnout. I mean, they're prognosticating a 65 to 75% turnout. So just trying to give everybody, the public and you all the heads up that we are doing, I'm not saying double, but basically a voluminous amount more than we normally do because we're expecting that large turnout. There's only so much, I mean, if there's a long wait, but we're having more check-ins, more people working, more tables, more privacy screens, more voting machines to put the paper ballot, anything. So just give you the heads up.
My concern is the printers. Now, we're going to print both sides of the ballot.
Yep.
How long does it take?
It will.
30 seconds, 40, 50 seconds?
That's a good question. I will tell you, we have the print on demand, but I ordered almost 90%. If we had a 90% turnout at ballots, you can rip and tear. So if we get backed up and the ballots printers get
It's
slow,
gonna be better.
we're going to print, rip, print. I mean,
And then over about extra poll books, I mean, we still have.
We have extra ones.
We have-
Yeah, we talked about that too, that we're gonna
We're
add
gonna-
extra poll books so people
if
can
there was,
sign
if
it.
there was, say, 2, there's either going to be 3 or 4, or if there was 3, there's going to be 4 or 5. But we ordered, pretend there was a 90% turnout. We already have the printer, but we have 90% of paper ready to roll. If there is, it'd be great if there was 100% turnout.
So let's just
Well, my
bust it out.
question, you're adding more poll books. Well,
They're basically check-ins, where they give your ID check-in.
okay.
So instead of like
But
1 or
the
2, we might have
clerks
4.
normally do that, and we haven't increased the number of
Poll workers.
poll workers, so how do you expect?
We're going to train the better ones to work with us as well.
Yeah.
I think there's just going to be maybe a judge that might have to do a poll book, and there may be we just may have to.
Whether it's the clerk or our deputy clerk, but we're just trying to increase the speed in which they can get in. Because if you only have 2 and we have 4 now, well, that's double the amount of people we can get in. Because hopefully you could have like 8 to 10 people voting at one time as well as 4 on the poll books getting in at any 1 second. So we're just trying to increase that way. So, but I'm just preparing everybody for the historic turnout that we all think it will be.
79,000 would be 70%.
79,000.
79,000 would be 70%.
And
Get
that's
up
over
to
100
90.
some an hour.
We're looking, to make the process as good as possible, but it still could be long. We could do quadruple, and there could still be potentially. So if you have thoughts, we're trying. So, but we ordered more than we.
That's what, as long as we got the backup plan, that's all. That's it. We're gonna have a lot of mechanical failure here.
I had a question from Marcy Clark. I had a question from someone who asked if the public could attend the poll worker class even if they aren't going to be a poll worker.
It's been done in the past, but the room is tight. And if it's too tight, they would have to, because honestly, the challengers and the poll workers are the ones that have to be there by law.
Yes,
So it could be, I'll be honest, it could be hit or miss, not because we're not,
I understand.
if it's crowded, we could always film them. I'm not saying no, I'm just saying that room, as I think you've been in that
Yes,
room.
I have. It
is
is
sometimes,
It is, I agree.
Yeah.
it's
So,
way more important the challengers and the poll workers are in there than
Okay.
observers. But I don't mind if the room isn't crowded, or if somebody wants to view, we could always film it.
okay,
I'm more than great with filming it.
okay.
I would,
So if they show up and there's room, they can be there, but if not, they need to be prepared to leave. Okay, I can give them that answer. Okay.
Yeah, Jill from Hebron.
Okay?
Does the Secretary of State have polling videos, part of like training, anything available, tools for you guys to use? Because I know some people don't learn from just reading from that book. Live scenarios might be like a role play, maybe suggestion, because we had some people say, well, you can read it in the book, but when it happens live,
Right.
how do you handle those situations?
The Secretary of State, unless I've checked pretty frequently, I don't think has a video up there. We do demonstrations, literal physical demonstrations at our poll worker training. I don't know if is anybody a poll worker in here? Thank you. Thank you, whoever, thank you. Always thank you guys. We do physical demonstrations, and we will stay as long as anybody wants to stay. If they want, you can they have cards, if you will, to act like you're a voter on the poll books. They can scan in a ballot.
Oh, yeah, that's
Okay.
right. Like, for instance, like spoiled ballots, people were coming to me, I'm not a deputy clerk, but I was helping them explain the situation. I had my book that Stacy gave us, I had it all tabbed, like if we could go reference something immediately.
A spoiled ballot is one of those scenarios.
Yeah.
I know that for
it is.
100% fact.
It is, but we did realize this time around too that people were having issues with the spoiled ballot. Like we were getting a lot of complaints with that. So we decided this time on training, we were gonna hit on that more, on that area and show how to do it specifically.
Perfect.
Because
I know we're doing
we
more
did
hands-on.
discuss that, to do that because
Yeah.
We're definitely
People were
doing more
having issues.
hands-on this
Yes.
time, too.
Perfect, because a couple people tried to touch their ballot, and I had to say, we can't touch
Okay.
their ballot.
Correct,
We-
you were correct in that.
Right, so I'm just kind of throwing it out there. I'm coming to you from other people,
No, I
asked me to
appreciate
come
it.
and represent them tonight, so I'm just asking these questions on behalf
No,
of a
it's
lot of
great.
people.
We've realized not everybody learns the same.
Right.
We have like that, so we're
Right.
adding more we're training our deputy clerks around the field more hands-on too. I think that way, when you actually do, sometimes it's more so. So you will
100%.
see a much more hands-on experience this time around.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you for doing that. Also, a poll worker survey, could we do like a Google survey or whatever program platform that you would want to use so that not just the sheriff's report goes back to your team, but the actual poll workers are giving you feedback so that you could create like a best practices? For instance, we throughout the day at my polling
I'm
location.
just curious, where were you?
I was at Oak Brook and Limburg.
Okay.
So all day long, as I was the clerk, and then I would balance throughout the day with the judges, like every hour. Okay, what numbers do you have? And then whoever was working the machine, what numbers do you have? And we would balance all day long. So that was a best practice that we did for the last 3 elections. So that was a great way to balance before the end of the night, and it went so much smoother. Yeah. So that just stuff like that. I think if we
I don't
if we
think
can
that-
take
I
that
think
back
it's
and give
I
it
think
to
that's
you
a good
guys.
idea. How about this? Any input to make the election better? Sure.
Right.
Honestly, yes. That's not lip service, honestly.
Because I don't
We want to make
know.
elections as good as possible.
Right, so I don't know what goes in these sheriff's reports, if everything goes into the reports that gets back to you guys, but if we have some sort of survey that everybody can put their 2 cents in, I think would just
So
better
you want
us.
each person's position to be able to do one?
Yeah, so Jill
Okay.
would get one, if Marcy's
So like the
working.
clerk, sheriff, judge?
Yeah.
Each individual
Okay.
person, like I
Right.
was different,
Yeah,
named Jim
okay.
Jones,
Right.
Steve Smith, whoever.
Or maybe somebody didn't feel comfortable saying something to the
Okay.
sheriff or in front of
Yeah,
everybody
'cause
else.
We take the notes from the sheriff's report very seriously, but yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay, perfect,
Absolutely.
right.
And that's not that hard to do, so we can do that.
Okay. And then we talked about the printers. Our printer kept jamming and going offline, had to take the drawer out, push it back in. Who would make that call the day of if we say, the printer's got to go, we're going to use these pads? Who makes that call?
Ultimately, did you have a deputy clerk at your?
We did.
precinct? They would probably call us. They would probably call headquarters if we'd make that call. But I mean, I think at this election, it's going to be
Yeah, it's gonna be both.
it's
Yeah.
going to be both all day.
Right.
I'm being real. I mean, to kick it all out, if you will, like none, it would be a simple phone call. If the clerk called us, the deputy clerk were like, like, it's not working well, we would probably just
Okay.
nix it.
So
But
there
like
will
I
be
said,
one at each location?
Not every location. You did have one?
We did.
Too bad I don't have enough clerks for all, but a strong majority of them, and especially the larger ones, all have them. Or if there's two really close by, the one can run from one to the other, because there's some that are literally like, R.A. Jones and Collins are one, if you know where their schools are.
Oh, yeah, right.
I mean, so, but we generally, I would say, I'm going to guesstimate 80-85% of them have one.
Okay,
So, but I do absolutely think it's going to be a print and a hand, if you will, both ways.
Okay.
It's going to have to.
and then we'll address that at the training,
Yes,
obviously.
100%.
Yeah, perfect. I had somebody ask me to address this tonight. So somebody comes and they are at the wrong precinct. We had it happen at ours too. And they moved. They didn't change their information with you guys. So what's happening is some of the judges are doing the paperwork there, holding up the line instead of saying, here, this is where you're supposed to go. This is your new polling location. What is the proper process?
That should be, they should go to their new location. If they,
Right.
The poll pad says it, where the new one is, because did it come
Right.
up on your poll pad?
Oh, yeah, and it says location, and then you can print it off, like we
Right.
learned in the training.
That is the process.
So that's
It
how
should be
we
quick-
did
It
it.
should be quick and easy.
Right.
That was one that should be one benefit in that is it should tell it like you're the wrong place, you need to go to, Thornwell Elementary School. It should tell them immediately.
Right,
you need to
and that's
send-
how we handled it, because that's how we were trained.
Right.
But I know some other polling stations, what they were doing is they were having them fill out the paperwork, holding up the line, so that they could vote there at that particular precinct. I know that was happening last
Okay.
election.
Did you want to add to that?
I have David Kidd over at Florence. I think that's something that goes to your comment about the best practices.
Right.
Because what you're explaining is kind of how we work it. Our sheriff guy, Benny, pretty much works the poll. If there's any issue, it goes to Benny, and the rest of the business goes on as normal. And that should be.
I think the best practices will come up, but yes, that was handled, that's, in the training, that's how it should be done. If somebody's not doing that, that's probably not the best thing. They didn't follow the training protocol very well.
Because you're really gonna hold things.
Right, I know.
You will hold on a day like this one
100%.
coming up, you're gonna hold on
100%.
big time. They should, but that prints that, I don't wanna call it a ticket out, but it prints,
Yeah, the receipt.
yeah,
that says
receipts.
Right.
I was
where
using
you're
it right.
supposed to go.
And they should be out the door.
Yep, but we had quite a few of those,
Okay.
and they were fine with it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if they don't, I mean, nobody offensively, I mean, if they're at the wrong, we're not psychic, we don't know they moved and they're gonna,
So
Right,
are you saying
exactly.
that they were letting them fill out their paperwork
while standing in line?
there to vote there when they were in the wrong location? Or, you know what I mean? Like they were
Yeah.
supposed to be at a different precinct?
They were filling out a new,
A new voter card?
Yes.
Our new voter card.
Okay.
yeah,
For that precinct?
correct.
Okay. I'm just making sure. I was like, because he
Yeah.
looked at me like that. I was like, well, because he was like, are you saying wrong?
No.
I just wanted to just, make sure.
Right.
So,
But that would be on the best practice. I mean, that's the way it should be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing to add to best practices, yes.
Yeah.
I think that'll be helpful after this go around, for sure.
And the last thing was, there was a teacher-parent conference at Thornwald Elementary last November.
Yes.
So can we let that happen this
We
time?
got the promise from the school that would never happen
Okay,
again.
I heard it was a hot mess. I didn't work that one, but I heard about it.
We,
Apparently, the superintendent said that they had nothing planned.
Yes,
Yeah.
so we
Through the
had,
school system, that was their goal.
there was supposed to be nothing. I mean, they closed down the schools for that reason,
Right.
because it's only meant for voting.
Right.
I mean, I can't help it if they have the chess club and we don't know about it, but they have promised us 1,000,000% that would not happen.
Okay. I didn't know if you knew about it.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Got it.
We were not pleased. Anybody at this table or anybody else was not pleased.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely.
Talking about the sheriff's report, and people adding things to it. Last election, I think Steve and I both got written stuff that people had turned in, and we read, I don't know if you did, I read every one of mine, and a couple of the things that were written on the sheriff's report, I got notes from Stacy that said, please tell these people that we can't change that, you know, so everything that was complained or brought up as good or bad or whatever, I read every word of it and talked with every poll worker about that. So if trying to everybody pass that sheriff's report around, if somebody has other things that they want to write it up and get it, put it in the bag or send it to Stacy or Justin. And those are equally as
I
important.
mean, I get emails sometimes about, hey, can we do
Yeah.
this? What do you think of this? But I mean, I still think your survey, if you, I'll call it that,
Yeah.
is a good idea. But we do get, I mean, they both get lots of thoughts and comments too.
Okay.
We take them all seriously, but I still think the survey is a good idea.
Okay.
I've had people from other counties say they do their training on videos. You just do a video, they have a video that you have to turn in, and they monitor that it was done. Have you heard that?
I have,
It might be.
I don't know.
Kent County,
They watch a video.
they do videos.
I will tell you, I don't like that idea, but that's just me. We can take a vote. My only reason is video.
My
You
only
could,
thought is, if there's something available, that would be a backup.
it could be a backup, but I don't like it as the alternative because all you have to do is put it on your computer and sleep through it.
Exactly.
That's the reason people aren't doing
No,
it.
I don't-
It's like a Zoom meeting. I think that's a bad idea. I'm only speaking for me. Okay.
I'm saying.
No, it's actual
I'd like
training.
to see what it's,
Yeah,
if they
yeah.
have one available.
But the original, I think, has to be in person, because at least if you fall asleep, we can be like, you need to do your training. And we're in Zoom, they're falling asleep.
I work over in Campbell County, and I talk to people, I tell them about what we do. We just do a video, Wow, good luck with that. But they don't have anybody polls either.
Correct. They don't have closest meetings.
David Christie from Hebron. Can you remind me our ability, and I know we're legally constrained what we can and can't do, remind me our ability to proof of citizenship? I know there's been talk about people being allowed to register to vote while getting a driver's license, even though they're not a citizen.
That is all confined by, obviously, the law. I don't know, Bill, do you have that better than I do? I can try and get you, I have your email address, I can try and send you the KRS, I don't have it off, it's a KRS, and I can give you the laws on that. It is completely confined to what, you know what I mean, it is. Obviously, there's going to be a constitutional amendment on this ballot too, as well, addressing that if you've seen that. But I can, obviously, like we've conversed, I can send you the KRS, I don't have the tip of my finger, but I don't mind sending it to you. We comply with the law, the law will get a little tighter if it's passed than it is now, but like I said, it'll be on the ballot.
Yeah, we have a voter decision chart that everybody gets to.
But it's not the KRS.
But is your question in terms of how individuals their citizenship is verified before they're registered?
Do we have any ability to protect ourselves from people voting that probably shouldn't, just because they have filled out voter registration I mean, there's all kinds of nuances that I'm not trying to get into every single one of them.
There's a process to get registered. There's a process to challenge a voter's
Yes.
registration at the polls.
Yes.
Correct.
Those are all mandated by statute.
Correct. That's what I said. But how about this? I will email them to you. If you have questions, just give me a call. You got my number, so.
I'm Joni Persinger from Union, and mine was on the same vein. I just feel like there's such a push for everybody to register to vote, and, everybody's got things for them to fill out, but there's never any, like, they don't have to prove they're a citizen. And the thing on the ballot is so small. Is there any way that we could make a sign that says, like, the penalty for voting if you are not a citizen is this? And just post it, because I don't think they really know there's a penalty. I think they think if they get away with it, cool. And there's not really a penalty. And I think if we put a sign there that said, if you are not a U.S. citizen, you are not able to vote, and if you do vote, this is what could happen. You could possibly never be allowed to be a citizen.
I mean, it would just, it would be a copy of obviously the KRS what it says now.
But if we could post it right where they're getting their ballot.
I mean, I don't have a problem with posting that, but here's why I'm just being factual.
In English and in Spanish.
There's not necessarily an issue with that, but I mean, I will tell you, anybody who works at polls, you've seen how many signs we put up already. I don't know what percentage of people actually read those. I don't mind doing that.
I mean, we could just put it on the table, so
I
they know.
know I can't put it on the table. I can put it where all those other signs go.
Okay, and then at least they would say, oh,
Yeah.
there's a penalty for that, because I just don't think, especially when you're filling out a ballot, you just look for the people you want to
Right.
vote for. You're not reading all this stuff, and I think it's really concerning that we have a lot of non-citizens in our county now, and they're just signing up, and
It's not just Spanish either, it's more than.
well, that's
But-
true.
But
That's true.
I guess maybe if I might, because you're asking for legal, I mean, if the individual has presented the information that's required by statute at the time of registration, wouldn't it be better to warn them then than it is when they come to the poll and we've got 79,000 people lined up to question their registration beyond that which is required by statute?
Yeah, when they fill out the voter card, there's already a perjury penalty
I
on it.
understand that. So to get registered, the statute says you have to provide this proof. And they sign an oath saying that they understand under penalty of perjury, they are declaring that they are a citizen. So the violation of the law happens right there. Now they show up at the polling place where they've been vetted. I mean, I don't think our poll workers can question whether they're an American citizen based upon their appearance or their language.
And I don't believe that's what she's saying. I think
No,
she's just asking for a
I'm saying,
sign.
when can we do this? When can we make sure, before they're registered, that they are a citizen?
Well, but
That's way beyond.
that's,
Yeah.
they're doing that at the time of registration. They're signing an oath under penalty of perjury, and I'm assuming that they read and understand what they are doing and signing. Am I missing part of the point to the question?
Yeah. Well, I think the verbiage needs to be big. They need to see it. They need to realize, here's something I need to pay attention to.
The first question on the voter cards at the very top, the very first one is, are you a U.S. citizen? That is always the first one at the very top.
And it's like this big, because I've seen it.
Those are a little bigger than the rest of the card, honestly. And the cards are different now. So I think, honestly, the state's trying to make it a little bit more difficult for people just to fill out a card anywhere, because they're making people actually go online.
You have to go online.
And have
We
to
discussed
register
that
to
last
vote.
meeting. You have to go
Even in
online.
our office, you have to use our laptop to be able to go on and register. We don't give you a card anymore. I think they're trying to make it a little more difficult for people to do it, not just going and handing out cards and passing cards out to people. You know what I mean? Like, here, take this and you can register. I think they're trying to make it a little more difficult for people to do that.
So the burden is completely on the person and not on the county to verify it,
It's
correct?
false. I would say more on the state.
Yes.
Because if you think how they're showing ID to be a citizen, it's like drivers, things like that. So, I mean, this is an answer we give a lot, but it's true. I mean, your legislators are the ones controlling how they get their driver's license, how they get to vote, how they do that. They pass the laws. We're more at an executive body, would you go?
Yeah, we're the executive body, the legislature passes them.
The legislator
We
passes
apply
these
them.
laws or doesn't pass laws, and we have to apply them the way they're set. So, I mean, that's, like I said, I will give anybody the KRSs. I mean, we're kind of bound by the laws. We follow the law to a T. I don't mind printing that, I have no problem with doing that. But I think the bigger question you're trying to get at is more of your legislators will have to, if you don't like a certain law the way they are, you're going to have to elect legislators that do or don't want to pass the laws you agree with.
I mean, they're the ones that outline the registration.
Yeah, I mean,
As
they-
far
they-
as the voter registration cards, do you draft those or do those come from?
Those are from the
Say
state.
everything state.
They're from the
I
Secretary
mean,
of
the,
State.
This is a little, this is all.
yeah,
Right, but that's the
Right
form
before they
that's.
sign that tiny
Yeah.
little thing there.
I mean,
Does
That is
come from-
smaller now
Yeah.
than the old cards used to be.
I mean, I'll just say, that, I mean, this is
Yeah,
no choice we
everything
have.
is-
This is
that
the
is
form
on
by the state
the
of.
Secretary
So
of State.
small and insignificant, no one's gonna
So
ever.
this is not a form that you've drafted?
No.
Or you can
No.
make changes
No.
to?
No, it's KRS.
It is this, that's what I'm saying, the bigger fish, if you will, is,
We need to take it to the.
Talk to the
we need to-
legislature.
it's your legislators, because the legislators could do something about that.
And it's not even in good English, so just read it.
Well, see, they totally changed it because you remember the card at the top, it used to say,
Yeah, it
very
used to say
first,
right
are
at
you
the
a
bottom.
US citizen? Are you 18 years of age?
Like, if we have something different, we will be violating.
Yeah.
This is exactly what we have to give to somebody.
Could I, David Christie, again, can I rephrase my question? You mentioned that there's a proposal on the amendment on the ballot for requiring proof of citizenship. If that passes, then we will be both empowered and obligated to do, well, assuming a second law then gets passed that says how that takes form.
Correct, it'll say it passes, but then they're gonna draft, I would assume, new forms, new everything.
Sure, and my question is, do we have the authority to do something now, or are we blocked from doing something now specifically?
We would be violating the law.
Yeah, we would be
The
violating
board,
the law.
us, me, the county clerk, Steve, Janet, we would be violating the law. They give you specific guidelines in the KRS, and you must be followed 1, 2, 3, 4.
When someone comes in, that we have this tree that they have to follow, and if there's fail-safe zones in that tree, they don't have it. There's 2 or 3 places where they're not allowed to vote, they're not allowed to vote, not allowed to vote. And if they fail all those, then they're not gonna vote. But if they come up with the answers for all of them, then they're gonna vote.
So that's the
And
only
we-
decisions that we
you can
have.
challenge them
power
all
to
you
use.
want, but
And they used to hand out a card, and we would, both parties would hand them out at the fair and at senior picnic and everything, give them to them. They would fill them out and allegedly give them back to us. Those got lost, they didn't get into the right hands. This has made it impossible for we can hand these out, but we cannot take them back.
So those basically give you the website, you can go on the website.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
But we do offer convenience, they come in, if they're not that savvy, tech savvy, we basically help, you know what I mean? Like, here's a laptop for you, you can fill out, you know, 'cause some people aren't the most tech savvy, so we have a laptop, they can sit there and fill it out. We don't-
Did that change? Is this card still relevant at the polling location? So that's not.
Now, at the polling location now, you're gonna have those in your precinct folders, and it'll be all paper, like that. There's no cards left.
it's gonna be.
They told us to get rid of the cards and pitch them,
but
So
they
they-
State
can't,
it.
they can't register to vote and vote that same day.
No,
Right.
absolutely not.
Cannot
We do not
do
have
that.
that consumption.
So, but on this form, there's 2 questions asked to citizenship.
Yes.
Question number 2 says, are you a citizen of the United States, yes or no? Then question number 7, any person who causes himself to be registered when he's not legally entitled to register shall be subject to penalties including fines and/or term of imprisonment not less than 1 year, more than 5 years. Voter declares, reads, and signs, I swear or affirm, I am a U.S. citizen, I am a resident of Kentucky, I will be 18 years of age on or before the general election, I am not a convicted felon, I have not been judged mentally incompetent, I do not claim the right to vote anywhere outside Kentucky. And then they sign under oath.
They changed that. You didn't say that much on the last one.
No,
Yeah.
longer.
Yeah, it's
Covered
longer.
longer.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, in two different places, the individual, one is bigger print, you would agree up here,
Right.
that's larger print than what's down here under the affirmation, but in two different places, the person is affirming under oath.
Yep. So,
So we can put a big sign
We
on the
can.
wall for them to read.
yeah, I don't mind the sign, but like I said, the bigger question is if you don't like the way things
Say
are
what
run,
that says right there.
the law would have to be changed, and that is up to your legislators. We just have to follow the law as they basically pass a law and they give it to us, we have to follow it. Any other questions?
I've got one last one.
Marcy Clark.
Sorry about this. Stacy mentioned the printers and jamming, and then if there's a clerk, you all mentioned if there's a clerk on the premises that they can call in and request the, okay, so oftentimes you all have new clerks working. Everyone's wonderful, so I don't want it to sound like this is against the clerks. It's not. Everybody's great, everybody works hard, I get that. But sometimes they're new. Is there any way for you all to really send home the message, if there is a problem with the printer, please call in and we'll handle the jamming situation?
I don't, what year is that, sometimes our election, we have runners that go out all day and all night to fix. I mean, if it becomes a problem, I'm just gonna rip up the Band-Aid and go to pave street paper. Yeah, I mean, you've seen, we have techs, we have mat runs, I mean, we have runners night and day running everywhere, so. But I mean, we just have to put the emphasis on if they're going too slow, they're jamming to go, but I mean, somebody's gonna make a call. But we're gonna have 85 to 90% paper already, so I mean, that doesn't even include the printer, so.
Well, I know me and Stacy had talked, we have with you too. We have pretty much said there's gonna be such a big turnout, we're gonna use both. It's not, we're not gonna break out the ballots, we're gonna use both regardless. You're gonna have
From the
to
get-go.
rip, and you're gonna have to print the city, you know what I mean? You're gonna have to do both at this point, it's not gonna just be
There's no option.
one. So, don't worry about that, there's gonna be both going.
Awesome, okay.
So, yeah, that's a for sure thing, so,
We understand the turnout.
yeah.
Vote November 5th.